Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope everybody's having a great week. I had a really kind of a fun weekend, and so my week has kind of been off to a running start and a roll. And I know some of you that have been following me. I'm selling off because I moved from like one town to the next, and I had to pack up all of my gear. And I realized I have way too much gear. So I have been in the midst of selling it, and every time I do, I get to meet somebody that is phenomenal, and a lot of them are starting their own YouTube channels, which is it's so cool to see a new young creator that's, still excited and getting ready to do their thing. So I'm having a blast. This retirement thing is going extremely well. And so did pick up another camera, another action camera, right? Best Buy had one, and it's kind of funny. This is how it came, in a plastic bag, and they had it marked down ridiculously cheap. It says open box up there, uh, and it was the Action 5 Pro, which I have been looking at. But I could not get anybody to tell me what kind of shape it was in. And I called the number because it was in a town that's about 2 hours away, about 100 miles away. And I had to drive over there anyway to pick up my grandson. So it wasn't like it was a big thing, but I did, before I made the trip all the way to the store, I did kind of want to know why it was marked down so cheap. Was there something wrong with it? And when I got there, they couldn't even find it. Anyway, you cannot call the store. If you call, like if I was to call a Best Buy in Miami, it goes to India. And they just read you what's on the website. I can read, right? So they will not transfer you to a store. Now, it's my understanding if you go into your local store, they can call the store and actually reach somebody at another store. But if you just call the number that's on their website, like I knew the area code was the right area code, so I really thought it was going to be directly to the store, but no, it's not. It's across the pond. So I thought, I'm just going to go look because it's such a ridiculous price. I'm just going to go look and see. It was like $150 off. And I've been kind of toying with the idea, well, at that price, yeah. So they couldn't find it. Long story short, they searched for about 20 minutes. They finally found it, and they bring it out in a baggie. And I'm thinking, oh, this is not going to go well. Turns out the camera is pristine. However, there's certain things that these cameras come with. If you buy the basic kit, they all come with a cage. I don't know, I don't think the basic kit comes with a stick, but I have so many little tripods and sticks, and I didn't need the stick. I didn't think I needed the cage because I'd been told by certain people that the 3, 4, and 5 all take the same cage. And that's not true. Not exactly true. But so it didn't come with a cage, didn't come with a stick. It was basically the camera and the batteries and the charging case. And it believe it or not, it had an Olight charging cable in the baggie. Yeah, don't know where that came from. But anyway, and I'm thinking, that's okay. I think it did have 2 of the, if I can find them, what I did with them. It had 2 of the, like, the mount things. Like this, they're magnetized or whatever. And so it came with 2 more of just this piece, not the stick. So I go ahead and buy it, because Best Buy, you can take it back. You have like 30 days to take it back. And got it home and realized I need the little case, because the camera itself doesn't have, you can mount this to the bottom of the camera, but you can't mount anything on the side. And you know, I like to put my light there. So I dug out and I found my case to the Action 4, right? And it does fit. The DJI case that comes with it does fit the 5. Okay, so that problem was solved. Now I have a mounting location on the side. It's not a cold shoe, so the only thing you can really mount is the stuff that's magnetized. Like my Lonzy light's magnetized, so it just fits right on there. But it's not a cold shoe. The thing I like about my small rig cage for my 4 is it gives you the side mounting, but it also gives you a cold shoe. So, which if you wanted to put like a mic receiver or something up there, you can't really do that with this one. So, okay. So I looked online to see if maybe some of the other cages, if maybe somebody had the same problem. And apparently, kinda. It was about a 50-50. Well, and I'll show you here in a minute, but this is the small rig cage for the Action 4. And let me get everything off here so I can show you. So this thing, we'll just put you on the overhead for a minute. Let's just put you on the overhead. Okay, so this thing, it just slides one way or the other, opens the back door, and the camera just comes right out. Easy peasy, you put it back in, and it snaps, and it says it's made for the 3, but it fits the 4 perfectly. Okay. When you try to put the 5 in it, and now remember, this is the cage that is from DJI, which I've never really cared for them. I used PG Witex on my original OSMO Actions, and so I've got those extra. But when you try to put the 5 in the small rig cage, it is just, I don't even think it'll pick it up on the camera, the difference. It is just ever so slightly wider. So, wrong camera. So when you put it in here, it fits. And it looks, if you can get it in there, it fits perfectly. And it looks from the back, it looks like it would fit perfect. But when you go to try to close it, it won't close. Now, you can force it closed, and these sides kind of bow out a little bit, and it's really, really hard to get it back out if you force it. But I think that would put pressure on the camera and the cage. Not really something I want to do. So, and with this one, it just literally, it snaps, and it's no forcing necessary. So, so for now, I'm going to stick with the little plastic cage that DJI sends. This is actually was sent with the Osmo 4, but it does give me that side piece. So for now, I'll stick with that unless somebody comes up with something that positively will work. I hate to buy a whole bunch of cages and just have to send them all back, you know. So, but yes, I am a proud owner of the 5, and I gotta tell you, huge difference, huge difference between these two little cameras. Now, there's some obvious things that everybody and their dog talks about, such as the 5 has Bluetooth capabilities for 2 mics. The 4 only has Bluetooth capabilities for 1 mic. Okay, whatever. The main difference, and the batteries are bigger on the 5. So the charging cases are virtually identical. They one has the one that came with the 5. Now, like I said, where's my little mouse? There's my little mouse. I don't know, because I didn't get this in a box, but the 4 did not have the embossed logo. It does have the logo on there, but it's not colored. The 5 has the colored logo. But other than that, they are completely the same. So there's that. Okay. The main difference between these two little cameras is lighting. Now I know the 5 is supposed to have they have the same size sensor, but it's supposed to be re-engineered. Lighting. It's ridiculous. I put both of them on my little stick that, I test cameras with, and just walked in my jammies, just walked through the house, and it is remarkable the difference between the two cameras. So the 5, you really don't need a light for the side because it takes night shooting to a whole new level, and it is simply amazing is the only thing I can say. In my living room, I have 3 lamps that are kind of spread out, and it was able to work with those 3 lamps. The 4 was really totally unusable footage. Having said that, if you take them outside on a sunny day, guess which one outperforms the other one? The 4. Because it's darker by nature, and I had them set on exactly the same thing, and the 4 picks up the definition in the clouds and the trees and the buildings behind me, and the 5 does make me look a little softer, okay, but the 4 in outside daylight conditions was the clear winner. The 5 inside or in dark conditions is the clear winner. So I guess if you only shoot outside in the sunlight, get the 4. And if you only shoot inside or in like restaurants or at night or darker areas, then the 5 is the way to go. So I don't know, but that's kind of my take on things. So let's jump in, see who's here. And Mr. Camera Junkie is the first to come in. Hey everyone. Hey Lewis, how you doing, bud? And Scott came in right behind him. Hey, and howdy. How you doing, Scott? Glad you're here, bud. And Roy from Australia. Good day, Sly. Good day, Roy. That just makes my week, saying that good day. I don't know why. It's fun. And Mookie from up north, Pennsylvania, I think. Hello, fellow photography and Sly fans. Yes, it's I think you guys are more the big camera people, but I have an affinity for action cameras because I am around water a lot. It's kind of my thing, and so I don't want to have to worry if I've never dropped a camera. I've flipped a kayak a couple times and lost a camera, but I am around water a lot, so this just makes me feel a lot more secure that I don't have to worry if they get dunked in the water. Roy says these days of standardization are gone. Yes, they are. Yes. And Miss Evelyn, how are you? Hello, Sly. Have a great show. Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. Roy says DJI logo is in stealth mode, right? Yeah, I think with the 4, when they first came out with this battery pack, they were kind of more toned down. I think now they're trying to make a statement. But so he'll come in eventually because he just got the Pocket 3. And everybody's been raving about the Pocket 3. Well, the reason, and I don't have a Pocket 3, so I can't speak to it, but I know with all of the OSMO Actions, you have to have the Mimo app. It's free. You just download it on your phone. And once you have it, any subsequent camera that you get automatically hooks up to it. So you don't have to download it like every time for every camera. Well, I started with I have 2 of the original OSMO Actions, which I dearly love because they don't overheat. The 4 overheats. I'm just saying. The runtime on the batteries is about the same, even though the batteries do not interchange. Now, I have not tried the 5 batteries in the 4, but they are supposed to interchange. So I could put the longer running battery in the 4, but the 4 overheats, and the 5 is not supposed to overheat. But I now know why everybody buys, because one of the ND filters, because one of the add-ons that everybody tries to sell you is the ND filter. I think it's got like a UV filter, an ND filter, a polarizing filter, all in this kit. Well, I know why. Because that camera sucks out in daylight. I'm just going to put it out there, right? I'm sure I'll get a lot of people saying, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." Well, when you compare them one to the other, the 5 is very blown out. Okay. However, in the house, the 4, you have to have a light with it. It doesn't perform at all. If I put my light on it, you can see me. You can't see anything in the room. Like, it's all black. It's very, very, very dark. You have to really look and know what you're looking at. It's very, very dark. With the 5, you can see me and everything behind me. Just fine. So, like for Christmas morning, when I like recording us opening presents and stuff, the 5 will be the camera I take because it most closely reproduces like my M6s. So, yeah, I was really tickled with that. And both of the sound, the microphones on the internal mics on both cameras is the same quality. Now, is it better with an external mic? Yes. Marginally. It is better. But it's not like if you don't have a mic, it doesn't make it unusable content. So, and I tested both cameras. I put them in Final Cut Pro and I tested both mics. Negligible difference. Like if you close your eyes, you cannot figure out which mic is which. So the mics are really even. But boy, the picture quality is not. So now I do have the, so Randy got the Pocket 3 and I wanted to tell him, be sure and download the Mimo app, because if you don't, and that's why this camera was returned, this camera has an internal memory, the 5. And so when I brought it home and I hooked it up, there was already some video on it of a young guy, and he was riding a motorcycle. It looked like he was sitting at a gas station trying to get this thing to work, and he didn't know he had to download the app. If you don't, you only get 10-second bursts. So it'll power on, it'll record for 10 seconds and shut off. Power on, record 10 seconds, shut off. How we found this out was the original OSMO Action. My son bought one to take on his kayaking trip with his buds, and the deal was that he could use it for that trip, and then I got it. Well, he came home and he's like, I don't know what's wrong with the camera. It'll only record for little bursts. And so then we got to investigating and we found out that you have to download the app. And then it's fine. And so he was kind of bummed about that because he's a lot like his mother and he doesn't read directions either. And, but that's okay. So, but like I said, when I got the 4, when I got the 5, I didn't have to download anything. It's an automatic thing. But apparently the kid returned it because he was only getting 10 seconds out of it before it would shut off. And he was getting frustrated. And so each subsequent video, he was getting more and more frustrated. I'm surprised he didn't throw the camera on the ground. But all he returned it with was the camera and the battery thing and an Olight charger. So I have no idea what happened to the rest of it. But so I got the 5 for really cheap. Yeah. The now, as far as the microphones go, I don't think you can really tell in the camera. I'll put this where you can kind of see them, but I don't think, other than the color, I don't know that you can really tell And of course, this being on a black background doesn't help. But the white is just ever so slightly bigger, and this is the 2, and the black is the original. But the white one is just, I mean, just a hair's breadth bigger. Now, why is this important? Because it won't fit in the charging case. It's just enough too big that it doesn't fit. So there's that. Like I said, DJI knows what they're doing when they're trying to get you to buy the new product. I don't know that I can justify the whole new set, because even though the 5 will Bluetooth to 2 transmitters, the 4 transmits to 1. And so I'm thinking, if it's just me, I can use this one. If I have somebody with me, I can always plug this into the side of the 4, and then I have 2 transmitters. So yeah, I haven't really justified jumping into the new mic yet, but I did get the single transmitter because it will Bluetooth to the 4, and it does sound good. So there's that. And there's my Brady Boo. How are you? Hey there. How are you doing tonight? They're having some issues. You might say a prayer for Brett and her girlfriend, and the girlfriend's mom is not doing well. So you might say some prayers and for the family. The family finds peace with everything. But I hope everything is going well tonight, as well as can be. And you all are constantly in my thoughts and prayers. So, and there is Mr. Peter Gregg himself. Hiya, watching the most exciting show on Tuesday night. Well, yeah. Nito necklace. Ah, yeah. Well, that was I'm so bad about jewelry. I put it on. I constantly forget to take it off, and yeah. So, Peter says, I can loan you my sledgehammer. What am I sledgehammering? Sledgehammering. Yes, I don't know. But, to get the microphone to fit? Yeah. Well, it is what it is. And honestly, Randy was showing everybody this cute little wind muff, which I do like the way they attach. They have a little post. They won't come off by accident. They have a little post. It's not gonna pick it up. No, don't look at me. There, that little post fits in that little hole, and it locks in there. You can hear it kind of click. It probably won't with Chris, but you can kind of feel it seat in there, and so in the wind, I mean, that won't come off by accident. And they can be a separate recorder, so like my Tascam, without the lapel. But I think you can put a lapel on here. I have not tried it yet, because I haven't had this stuff for a real long time. So, and I have been watching my grandson for a few extra days, which was so fun. Anytime I get him, I'm just like, that he is all consuming, and that's the way it should be, right? Mookie's saying hi to Peter, and Peter's saying prayers for anyone that's sick. Yep. I think she's gonna go to, I think she's on her way to heaven, not too far away. Peter says, hi, Mook. So, I just think that's so cool that we all know each other, and it just, you guys are my friends. You used to be my Friday night friends, now you're my Tuesday night friends, right? So, next week, we're going to have kind of a special show. Not really sure. I know where it's going to be, but I don't know if it's going to be like in a room or a lobby or, I don't really know. But I'm mobile, so it doesn't really matter, right? But next week we will be from the beautiful Las Vegas. So that'll be kind of exciting, a little change of scenery. And the next 2 weeks, actually, will be from Las Vegas. So I'm really hugely looking forward to that. I'm not a big fan of flying, but it is the most expedient way to get there. So, yeah, up in the airplane I will go. Not, I'm kind of what they call a white knuckle flyer. I don't like the takeoff and the landing. Once we get up and going, I'm fine. It's just that initial takeoff when your stomach just kind of goes, and then the landing when your ears are popping, and yeah. I would much rather drive, but Las Vegas is kind of a far drive from here, so I will fly, and it'll be fine. It'll be just fine. Mookie says, I wonder if turning off the stabilization would actually be better for some recordings, like being thrown around on an amusement park ride or whitewater rafting. It would make it more realistic. Well, yes and no. So there have been times where I have forgotten to turn DJI's form, or whatever what they call their stabilization is. They call it rock steady. I think GoPro calls it something else. But anyway, there have been times where I have forgotten to turn on the rock steady, and it's kind of, it'll make your stomach kind of gurgly to try to watch footage that's really jittery. So even with the rock steady on, I mean, you still get some bumps, and you still get some lurching and what have you, but without it turned on, it's not really not pretty. So the original OSMO Actions have rock steady, and I always make sure that those are on in the kayak, because it does go up and down, and and so when we go over our little, they're not really waterfalls, they're little whitewater things. I have them turned on for that, and I think I've made 2 kayak videos, maybe 3. I think I've made 2. I put 2 on YouTube. The third one ended up in the bottom of the river because I capsized and I lost my camera. So, yeah. Peter's saying, what camera, Mookie? I think he just means any camera in general that has, like, the action cameras have a stabilization. Peter says if it's too shaky, it becomes almost unwatchable. They call that artistic. Yeah, well, I agree. It's not artistic. It makes you kind of not want to watch it. So, Mookie says, I actually don't have an action cam. The Nikon Z8 is as close as I get. So I'm kind of a action camera aficionado, or whatever they call it. I've never had a GoPro, so I really can't speak to the GoPros. I've always had the DJIs, but they supposedly, okay, so here's kind of the history. The original OSMO Action came out. It was a huge hit because it's a great little camera. And then several years went by and they made the Action 2, which was 2 square cubes that hooked together. I didn't like the form factor, and not very many people did. It was not a big seller. So then they came out with the 3, which was back to the original form factor, but was supposed to have all this, newer, better stuff on it. When it was initially released, it had focusing issues. So when a camera is first released, it either makes or breaks the camera, because people immediately just started putting out really bad email or YouTube videos about how bad the focusing was on it, and would a firmware fix it, and firmware update fix it, and all this stuff. But the damage was done. It never could recover from that initial "this camera sucks" type thing. So then they came out with the 4. And in my opinion only, it doesn't, amounts to a hill of beans. The 4 is the 3 fixed. Okay? They fixed the focusing issue and they called it the 4. So I've never had a 3. I can't speak to it. It's the same form factor as the 4. And both of these are a little bit bigger than the original. Okay, not a lot, but just enough that nothing interchanges. The batteries don't interchange, the cages, nothing. So, in fact, a lot of people were saying that the 4, because it is so closely, it came out so fast and it came out on the heels of the 3, that, and because everything is the same, that all they did was fix the focusing issue, call it a 4, and boom, now you can charge $100 more for it because it's the newest, latest, and greatest. However, my original Osmo Actions sit on my kayak and we'll be out for 6, 7, 8 hours at a time in the intense sun. Never had a overheating issue out of either one of them. And I have 2 of them on the kayak, one in the front, one in the back. Now, the batteries last right at about an hour. You might get an hour and 10, hour and 20. You know, it's just, when you're on the river, you're not really keeping track of time. Okay. But they've never overheated. And I changed the battery and the batteries die. And so the 4 overheated in December in a house. It wasn't moving. So there wasn't probably a lot of airflow, you know, going past or anything like that. But it overheated before the battery died. That made me not a fan. Okay. So when the 5 came out, and supposedly they fixed the overheating issue, they've made the battery where it'll go now 3 hours instead of, you know, an hour and a half or whatever. It's not supposed to overheat. I have not tested that yet. So we'll see. I definitely will not be testing it on something as important as Christmas, but we will see. And it is fantastic. It will be the one sitting up at Christmas. I'll have other cameras too, but the 4 overheated and I lost a lot of Christmas. So yeah, when that happens, it makes you kind of lose faith. Now, since then, I have not had the camera on just running for however long it took to overheat. You know, I've used it extensively, but 10, 15, 20 minutes. And I've not had any problems with it overheating since then. Another factor is I don't think I've ever recorded, I haven't, nothing indoors. Everything has been outdoors where there's, you know, some wind movement around the camera, which I think helps keep it cool. And it could be, you know, it's in a metal case. So maybe if the camera gets hot, the metal case just makes it that much worse. They do come with a plastic case, so perhaps if it had been in a plastic case, it wouldn't have overheated. I don't know. I'm not an engineer with thermal stuff, so I can't really tell you why it overheated. I just know it did, and it was on Christmas Day, and it upset me. So Peter says, "Oh gosh, sorry that you're suffering with your Z8." Mookie's laughing. I'm not in the Brander league yet, Peter, right? Yeah. Randy's latest is the Osmo, the 3. Is that, no, the Pocket 3. Yes, that's his latest. He just unboxed it today. And I hope he comes in, because if not, I will send him a text to be sure and download that Mimo app. The Z8 takes you straight to the top. Mookie says, poor, but at the top, right? Yes, Nikon's, and it may not be this way now, but years ago when I first got into cameras, Canons were more for the amateurs. I mean, yeah, they make some pro-grade cameras too, but Nikon was all about photography. And Canon and Sony, they all kind of got on the videography side. And, you know, I love the Canon colors, but Nikon was always more about the photography side instead of the videography side. I don't know if it's still that way because I don't have any Nikons. And the reason I stay with Canon is because I'm so immersed in with their lenses that it would be very expensive for me to switch over to a different camera system. But I don't know. How does the video, Mookie, on the Z8? Peter says, I think Randy just got one of those pocket cameras, so it'll be interesting to watch. Yes, he just made a unboxing video and this afternoon, and he does a phenomenal job. Randy, my hat is off to Randy. He makes so many videos and he puts them up so quickly, and I struggle with that. So my hat is off to Randy. I need to start sending him my videos so he can process them, put them up. Mookie says, I want to see a camera bag or backpack review by Sly shot only while using the action cam. Okay, I can certainly make that happen. Probably not the whole video because it would be hard to do the overhead shots. But I can definitely go out to a park or something and shoot the bag part, the outside part, and then do B-roll for the overhead shots. Because I use this almost exclusively. Well, I do. I use this exclusively now with my grandson, and and he is hilarious because he knows anytime I pull this out, he's going to be the center of attention, and he will flat put his hand up and just say, "No, no, Granny, don't get your camera out," you know, because he knows. And sometimes he likes it. Sometimes he's about, "Will you take my picture?" You know, but more often than not, it's the opposite. So Peter says, oh, she can definitely do that and not even break a sweat. Yeah, it's the picture quality on these action cameras now is so good that you wouldn't be able to tell the difference unless I told you. So now they don't zoom. I think there is a zoom, like a 2x zoom. It sucks. It's not really even worth messing with. The 5 does have the bigger screen on the back compared to the 4. Because the 4's got like a bezel all the way around it, a black bezel, and the 5 doesn't. It goes edge to edge, and it's one of those OLED screens. So it is easier to see outside. But from what I've seen, the video quality on the 5 outside in the bright sunlight, not so good. And I did check to see if there's a firmware update, because you don't know how old this camera is. It didn't have a box, so there's no way of telling. And there was no firmware update, so it is what it is. Mookie says, Randy has been putting out a wide variety of videos lately. Cameras, computers, microphones. He's got it all covered. You right? Yeah, Randy he's the guy, man. He covers everything. And he knows what he wants, and he knows what he's talking about. So he does his research. Peter says, I want to be like Randy when I grow up. Well, Randy is like cameras like I am to bags. We have way too many. Mookie says, you always remain young, Peter. Yes, Peter's got a young soul. Roy's talking to Peter, I'm not growing up. It takes the fun out of life. That's right. That's right. And Peter's saying ditto. Yep. Mookie says, Z8 is great for video. Stack sensor. Introducing some RED technology, so it should be getting even better with firmware. That's cool. I don't know what RED technology is, but yeah, that's cool. There's Randy. Speak of the devil, and he always shows up. DJI Osmo Pocket 3 Combo. Apple is at it again to charge you for iCloud storage. Doing a redo on the first video with the new toy. So you do know that you have to download the Mimo app to get it to record for more than 10 seconds. I'm assuming that it's that way on all the Osmo Actions, so I assume they would put that same restriction on the Pocket 3. I don't have one, so I don't know, but if you're only getting 10 seconds and it shuts off, download the Mimo app, and that should take care of it. But I'm very, very interested to see how you like that Pocket 3, because now for me, it's not waterproof, and so like when I take little man fishing and what have you, sometimes he likes to hold the camera. I would worry with the Pocket 3 because it seems to me like it's kind of delicate. I know that the screen that when you unboxed it, it was vertical. You can turn that horizontal to take horizontal videos. So, but yeah, I think I would worry about a 5-year-old carrying it, and I don't worry about a 5-year-old carrying these at all. So his footage is not the best. He's still learning where the lens goes, and that what you're seeing is the lens, because he keeps wanting to hold the camera facing him and show the camera things that are on the other side. And so I'm constantly turning it around saying, okay, you're seeing what the camera sees now. So if you want to show it a picture or a stuffed animal or whatever, you have to aim this at the whatever you're wanting to show it. So he's learning, right? And he likes to take the camera and run with it, and it makes for some very interesting videos because his world is way down here instead of being up here. So it gives some really interesting perspectives of things. And some of the things that he takes video of, it's nothing you can put on YouTube, but it kind of gives you a different look into the world. Leaves, for example, he's a lot closer to a leaf on the ground. And so from his perspective, it's an interesting thing to put on camera. When we went roller skating the other day, he found some leaves that he wanted to make sure they got in the video. And so he wanted the camera, and he's looking at the leaves, and it was pretty cool. So, yes, I am smitten with my grandson. Roy says, Nikon made the first video DSLR, D90, but didn't take advantage of it. Okay, that's good to know. And Randy says, by the way, hello everyone. Roy's saying good day to Randy. And Scott's saying, I like to be retired like Randy. Yeah. Randy's saying, hey, howdy Roy. And Scott's saying, Randy is way, way more generous than I could ever be. You set the bar high, my friend. Yes, Randy's very generous. And he's got a good heart. Yeah. Mookie says, Randy may hire me as his camera equipment manager and video editor. That's what I need. That's exactly what I need. I need a video editor. Randy says, I'm not too worried about the waterproof because I never take my stuff out in the rain. Loving the gimbal and comparing the 1080p, I think it's 2.7 and 3K can do 4K 120. So I did notice on the 4, on the original Osmo Actions and on the 4, the 1080p 30 is just perfectly fine. I'm perfectly happy with that video. On the 5, the 1080p sucks. And so I had to bump both cameras up to the 2.7 to test them. The 4K it's fine on both of them. The file sizes are so much bigger. That's why I use 1080p. It's just the file sizes are like tiny in comparison. And so, by the time YouTube compresses everything and gets done with all you can't really tell the difference. So, but I did have to go up to the 2.7 because on the 5, the 1080p is, in my opinion, it's not usable. So, Mookie says, I just need to talk him into it first. Well, and there's like a whole country, Randy's way, way down here in the south, and you're way, way up here in the north. So there's like a whole country between the two of you. Peter says, you'll get paid in frappe mochas, Mookie. You'll get paid in frappe mochas, Mookie. There we go. Mookie says, McDonald's has become cool again, Peter. Actually, I'm a little upset with McDonald's. They used to have, when my kids were growing up, every McDonald's, or almost every McDonald's, had a play area. And that was kind of McDonald's claim to fame, is you bring the kids, everybody eats, and then the kids can play, and in the contaminated ball pits that were like the nastiest things ever. But then they got these big slides, and they had like these tunnels the kids could go through and everything. And now a lot of restaurants did not keep those clean, and I understand why they get rid of them. But now McDonald's is catering to, not to the children, which kind of hurts my heart because every kid loves McDonald's, right? But now they cater more to the adults and to the, how fancy can we make our menu, and it's not so much about the kids anymore. So that kind of went. The last time I took my grandson, we went to Burger King because they have the play area, and it was spotless. It was really clean and nice, and they did it a good job. So, but it just made me kind of sad. Peter says, actually, I hate fish, but love the McDonald's Filet-O-Fish sandwich. It's because it's, yeah, okay. It may smell fishy, but I have my doubts that it is fishy. Liking the mic also. Yes. So Peter tells me the ZV-1 has Bluetooth capabilities for the mic. I haven't tested it. I don't know. It kind of hangs up there and gets forgotten during the week. But I am, now between this mic and the original mic, I really haven't been able to tell a whole lot of sound quality difference. The claim to fame with this one is it does the Bluetooth, which the other ones do not. But I think, yeah, I'm 100% sure, they have the internal recording as well, the original mics. So one of the main differences is in the receiver. Everybody was complaining, and yeah, okay, everyone was complaining. Wow, you can't even see that. And then, nope. Let's try the Sony. Let's see if the Sony works any better. Not a lot. Okay. Everyone was complaining that this readout was too hard to maneuver, and that's how you change things on the mic. I don't really have an issue with it, but you do only have this from like here to here, right? The new one, this display is bigger, and there's a wheel on the side, so it's supposed to be a lot easier to control from this to that to the other. I do, however, and the connections are the same. I do like how in the case, you can put everything in there but the cable. And it comes with the USB-C, which hooks into the OSMO Action. It comes with the Lightning cable, so you can plug it into an iPhone. And then it comes with this cold shoe mount, which again, everybody was complaining about that. So on the new microphone, they have changed this just a little bit. I have never had any problem with this. You just slide that onto the receiver, and then you can slide it on the camera. I've never had an issue. It's worked fine for me, so I don't know what everybody was griping about. But, if people can gripe, they will. So there's that. That's my quote for the day, Scott. If people can gripe, they will. But this mic works really good. It's smaller. The new mic box is just a little bit bigger. It does have some heft to it because there is a battery in there. But I haven't, like I said, I was justified in getting a new transmitter because it goes with the 4. It'll go hook onto the 5 via Bluetooth. So I did pull the trigger on just the transmitter. But as far as getting the whole set, I'm not convinced I need the whole set. And the black one has a translucent case where you can kind of see the circuit board inside. Not sure I'm a fan of that. But I do use white mics a lot. And so I thought, okay, well, if I do get the set, then I'll have a black and a white, was kind of my thought process. When I got the Deity Pocket mics, I got the black and the white. So, and I ended up using the white more than the black. So I did go ahead and pull the trigger on this, and it does sound good. And I love the fact that as soon as you turn the cameras on and the mic on, they pair. I do like that. That's a huge a huge win for me. And thank you, DJI, because that was, I give that a thumbs up. Randy says, in San Antonio, they still have those playgrounds here. I go to either Starbucks, Barnes & Noble, and McDonald's for the adults, but now and then I turn into a kid. So I did find out that I don't bend as well as I used to. And so there was nobody else there. And so he wanted me to crawl through the tunnels with him. And I started to. And then I looked where it turns real sharp, and I'm like, yeah, Granny doesn't bend like that anymore. So I still had to get him home. So I thought, probably not a good day to wrench my back. Although next time we go to the water park, this girl's right in there with him. Peter says, on my car wash and wax video, I used your favorite mic, the Ceremonic Lab. I know you had a lot of trouble with yours. I had, what did I get? 2 or 3 sets of those. The first set, maybe I just got 2. No, I think I got 3. The first set had a bad transmitter. The second set, the receiver was bad. And maybe I just got 2. And then I tried to piece them together to make one good set. And it just never... It just didn't work for me at all. So I've never had a problem with either this or the original DJI mic. The Action 4 mic, internal mic, sounds so good that the only mic that made it sound remotely better was the DJI mic. I mean, I tried all these other mics, the Deity, the Hollyland, what else did I have? I even tried some that have cables, and I could not find anything that sounded as good as the internal mic. And so until I got the DJI mic, I had kind of just given up and just used the as long as you don't get it too far away from you, the mic is fine. But if I do a bag video and I set the camera up and I'm away from it, the internal mic's not going to pick up. So I am glad to have this, and it has a range further than what I would be from my camera. So because if you set a camera up and you go 100 feet away from it or 200 feet away from it, it's probably not going to be there when you come back. Just saying. It's the world we live in. And there's Shane, Geeky Nerdy Techie. Hi, guys and gals. I'm so glad you joined us. It's Wednesday afternoon there? So that's pretty cool to think about. And Shane's saying hello to, Mookie's saying hello to Shane. And Shane's saying hello back. Thanks for popping in. We're talking about OSMO Actions tonight and their camera, or their microphones, and so, yeah, I'm tickled that I have a 5, and it's a fantastic little camera. If anybody, I don't think anybody in here has one, but if anybody knows which cage fits this little thing, because the small rig does not, and that is my cage of preference. So I looked at the Tellison and Amazier, or however you say that. I looked at 2 or 3 different ones, and I didn't really care for how they set up. The small rig, if you need to get to the battery or the memory card, you just pop open this little thing, and let me put you over here, and then this just pops right down, and there's your battery and your memory card. And everything is very easy to get to, and it just closes right up. And now that becomes a magnet where you can put your accessory. So there's several different reasons why I like this. Oh, I moved it, didn't I? Why I like this. But see if I can get you back on me. Um, but I don't want to put that much pressure on the 5 or on the camera cage. So, yeah, if anybody has any ideas, hit me up. Let me know. Uh, Shane says, I'm in the U.S. right now, so it's 5:53 in Hawaii. Oh, you're in a beautiful Hawaii. That's really cool. I will be in Las Vegas the next 2 weeks. So I don't know where your travel plans are taking you, but if anybody's going to be in Vegas, hit me up. Shane says, sweet, I want to ditch my GoPro for a DJI at some point. Okay, so since you just came in, I'll kind of reiterate. I did a test between the 4 and the 5, and the 5 is fantastic for indoors. So if you're at a restaurant or you're like right now it's dark outside, if you're, at night, shooting at night or something, the 5 is 100% the way to go. The 4, it kind of sucks in like bright daylight. So they do make filters, like ND filters and UV and the polarizing filter. If you almost have to have one if you're out in bright sunlight. The 4 really outperforms the 5 in bright sunlight. So, yeah, so there's that. Now, having said that, if I put a light on the 4 and compare it to the 5, the 4, like walking around the house, which, okay, it's nighttime. My house is probably kind of dark. I have 3 lamps in my living room, so it's probably kind of on the dark side. But with the light and the 4, you can see me fine. You can't see anything behind me. And with the 5, everything behind me is visible too. So had I not been in my pajamas, I would have shown a picture of that tonight, but I was, because I was just kind of playing. My grandson was in here on the computer and I was just kind of playing with things. Noticeable difference. So I probably should make a video of that and put that up so people can tell me either, yes, that's just the way the cameras were set up, or hey, this is what you're doing wrong. But they were set, like I went step by step and set everything exactly the same. So it would be a really fair comparison. So there's that. Peter's talking to Shane. What gear did you end up taking? Oh, and welcome to the USA. Shane says to Peter, the S9, the S5 Mark II X, and the GoPro 10, which keeps locking up. Yeah, if I was gonna start with the GoPro, I think I wouldn't go lower than the 11. The 11, they made like huge leaps from the 10. So the 11, the 12, the 13, they all, obviously the 13 is supposed to be their best, latest and greatest, but the 11, the 12, and the 13 all seem to have really good reviews, and some of the YouTubers I watch use an 11 for their whole channel, and it does a phenomenal job. So, but I don't know about the 10. So I would lose faith if it kept locking up. Shane says, looks like a nice camera. Well done. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I got it for a steal, and I was telling everybody in the beginning, it came in a plastic bag from Best Buy. It says open box up here. And it says the reason, severe scratches. It didn't have a scratch on it, right? But it was missing some pieces. So it was missing all the important stuff it had with it. And because I have so many Osmos, I had everything else. So it did come with the batteries and the camera. It came with 2 of the little magnetic pieces, which is fine. I don't really, well, I can't even get it off. This is actually the GoPro handle, and I don't like where their screw thing is. It makes it hard to get the camera on and off. Now, having said that, I don't know really if you're using it, I don't know why you want it on there, but it came with 2 of these, which have a really strong magnet, and they just magnetized to the camera. But one is supposed to be, the reason it comes with two, one is supposed to have shorter legs than the other. Now, somewhere around in all my paraphernalia, I'm sure I have one for the 4, but these little legs right here, one of them is supposed to be shorter than the other. So like for if you have it on your helmet, or I guess you can mount it. I don't know where they mount them on their helmet, but it is supposed to have the shorter legs to it. It came with 2 the same size. So yeah, I don't care about that. And I already had the DJI stick, and I think I have 3 of the Insta360 sticks, which they don't extend out as far, and they're a little thinner, but I dug this one out because that's what it's supposed to come with. And I mean, this thing will go, I'm going to say 5 feet. I'm pretty sure that's about 5 feet. And I don't think the Insta360s are quite that long, but I have a bunch of these, so I wasn't too chuffed about not getting another one. And for the money I saved, it was worth trying it out. And hey, if I'm really that OCD about it, I've tried it out. I like the camera. I'm going to keep it, but I can return this one and pay full price for one that has all the accessories. But I really don't think I need it. So I'm just tickled that I got one, and there wasn't a mark on it. So, and it works phenomenally. Shane says, I got the 10 when it first came out, but yeah, it's so buggy. That's kind of what I've heard. Shane's asking Peter how he's doing. And guess who came in? Lewis, Sly and friends, hope you have a wonderful week. Love you. I hope you're having a good week, Lewis. Yes, so far has been phenomenal. I got 2 extra nights with my grandson, and so that just kind of makes my week. I won't get to see him for 2 weeks, so we were kind of soaking each other's energy up, and that we kind of feed off each other like that. So yes, it has been a fantastic week so far, and I'm getting ready to pack for the trip. I don't even think I'm going to take an M6 this time. I mean, I might, if I can find room in the suitcases, I might stick one in there. But I am going to take the 4 and the 5. We will be inside casinos a little bit, and the 4 I just don't think will do what I need it to do. The lady I'm going to see is going to be 92 years old in just like 2 weeks. And so she doesn't get out and about a lot anymore. Like when I've been out there in the past, we've gone to see Hoover Dam and we've done some activities, outside. I don't think she's going to be able to do that kind of stuff anymore. So most of the stuff I'll be shooting will be inside. And so I'm definitely going to take the 5. And we'll just kind of see. So as far as camera gear, I'm probably just taking these 2. I may throw an M6 in there just so I'll have it, but I'm not going to, focus. Last time I went out there, I took like my tripod and really focus because I wanted to take some portraits and stuff. But this time it's just going to be more about taking like what I call home movies for the family. Right, just stuff that I don't put on YouTube. It's just for me and my family, and I'm taking a lot of pictures of my grandson so I can show her. And so she doesn't have internet. She doesn't have anything to play back stuff on. So last time I took my laptop and I set her on the couch and I put the laptop in her lap and I just let her start watching movies of him, and like from I had almost 5 years of movies of him growing up, and so she was entranced. She loves my kids and my grandson, and she just has a very, very big heart. So that's what the trip is going to be about. It's not, yes, we will be doing some gambling, but I'm not going out there to gamble. I'm going out there to visit with her, have Thanksgiving with her, and and just spend some quality time. And so that's kind of the happenings. Now, like I said, next week I will be having a live show. I do not know if it's going to be from a hotel room or a Panera Bread or where. It's still up in the air. I fly in on Monday, so I have exactly one day to figure this out. So I may be sitting inside of a car, right? I don't know, but we'll figure it out, and we'll make something happen. So until next week, I wish everybody a fantastic week. Have a great weekend, and I will see you from beautiful Las Vegas next week. Love each and every one of you. And, where'd I stop? Here we go. Safe travels, Sly. Yes. And I hope everybody has a fantastic week, and we will do it all over again next Tuesday from Vegas. So good night, everybody.